Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Natalie, and I'm the founder and principal of the Australian Meditation and Holistic Counselling College. I'm really pleased to have you here with us today. So, tonight's masterclass is called Attention Rewired: How Meditation Supports ADHD. The purpose of this masterclass is to explore ADHD, how it affects focus, attention, and how meditation can be a powerful tool to support focus, regulation, and well-being. We're going to keep tonight's masterclass practical. You'll learn research-based insights, and you'll also get to experience some short practices you can use in daily life. So here is how we're going to flow with this masterclass. First, we'll cover some basics about ADHD and the brain. Then we'll look at what research says about meditation and ADHD. Next, we'll explore how meditation works in the brain. We'll practice together, and we'll finish with strategies you can apply right away and some reflection. I encourage you to share if you feel comfortable, and remember, there is no right or wrong answers. This is about learning and exploring together. All right, so let's get started by looking at ADHD and the brain and what's really happening behind the challenges and also the strengths. So let's begin by looking more closely at ADHD and the brain. Understanding what's happening beneath the surface helps us to see why attention can feel so difficult to regulate and why meditation is such a powerful tool. First, it's important to clear up some common misconceptions. ADHD isn't about not being able to focus at all. In fact, people with ADHD often have moments of intense focus where they become absorbed in one thing for hours. This is what we call hyperfocus. The real challenge is regulating the attention. That means being able to shift focus when you need to, sustain it on tasks that feel boring, or balance attention between competing demands. Someone with ADHD might do brilliantly with something they enjoy, but struggle to stay on task with things that feel repetitive or uninteresting. So, some common challenges. ADHD can look different for everyone, but there are some common challenges that come up again and again. Distractibility, being pulled away by sounds, thoughts, or activities that are happening around you. Impulsivity, acting quickly without pausing to think through an outcome. Restlessness, needing to move, fidget, or shift around constantly. And difficulty sustaining effort, starting projects with enthusiasm, but finding it hard to follow through with those. Now, these aren't personal failings. They are reflections of how the ADHD brain works. So now, let's look at the brain side of things. In ADHD, the frontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles planning, decision-making, and self-regulation, tends to be less active. This underactivation makes it harder to control impulses and sustain attention. There are also differences in dopamine regulation. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter linked to motivation and reward. For people living with ADHD, the dopamine system often functions differently, which means everyday tasks may not feel rewarding enough to hold attention, while stimulating or interesting activities feel almost irresistible. Brain scans also show that the attention networks in ADHD brains often have less consistent activation, which explains why it feels harder to keep attention steady. So this is very important for us to remember. ADHD is not laziness, and it's not about trying harder. It's about the wiring within the brain. When we understand that, It takes away a lot of the shame and self-blame that people living with ADHD often carry. It's not about willpower. It's about finding the right strategies to work with the brain instead of against it. So, let me ask you this. Who is watching has ever started a simple task, like checking an email, and ending up somewhere completely different, such as scrolling on social media, reorganizing your desk, or down a rabbit hole of internet tabs? I think we've all been there. It's a very human experience. And for people with ADHD, that kind of thing can happen multiple times a day. Recognizing this helps us to relate to ADHD experience in a way that's both compassionate and practical. So now that we've explored what's happening in the ADHD brain, the challenges, and the wiring behind them, in the next section, we'll look at what research tells us about meditation and why it makes it such a difference for people living with ADHD. So now we have a nice understanding of ADHD and the brain. Let's look at what the research tells us about meditation. So, as future practitioners, it's important that you can confidently share evidence with clients because many will ask, does this actually really work? And we've got the evidence to prove that it does. Research over the last 2 decades has consistently shown that meditation supports attention, memory, and self-regulation, the very areas that are challenging for someone who is living with ADHD. So some important findings to know. There was a study from Emory University that showed even short-term meditation training improved selective attention. That means people were better at filtering out distractions. At the University of California, an 8-week mindfulness program helped participants shift their attention more easily and reduced distractibility. In young adults with ADHD, a 9-week mindfulness-based program improved working memory, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Brain scans support these outcomes too, showing stronger activation in underactive areas like the prefrontal cortex. So, as practitioners, you'll need to explain research in a way that clients can easily understand. Here is a simple analogy that you may like to use. So, meditation is like gym training for your attention muscle. Each time the mind wanders and comes back, the brain strengthens its ability to be able to focus. So you can reassure clients it's not about having a perfectly still mind. It's about practicing the skill of returning. So let's take a moment to just pause and think about your own experience. Please feel free to share in the comments if you wish. Have you ever noticed feeling calmer or clearer after just a few deep breaths or a short pause? I know I do. I know that doing those two little things can help calm and relax. This is the same principle research is showing. Even short practices make a huge difference. Encouraging clients to notice these small shifts builds confidence in the process. So the research is clear, but what matters most is how you translate it into practical guidance for clients. So when you're transferring and explaining this to clients, you might like to say, the science shows that even 5 minutes of daily meditation can improve focus and regulation over time. You don't need long sessions. Short, regular practice makes a huge difference. By grounding your recommendations in research, you build trust and credibility with your clients. So, research tells us that meditation really does support people with ADHD. Now, let's look at the mechanisms, how meditation actually changes the brain and the nervous system to create these benefits. So, now that we've looked at the research, the next step is understanding how meditation actually creates these benefits. As future practitioners, this is important because clients often ask, why does this work? If you can explain the mechanisms clearly, you'll strengthen their confidence in the practice. So, the first mechanism is attention training. Meditation teaches people to notice when their mind is wandering and gently bring it back. This repeated action strengthens the brain's ability to sustain focus. For clients with ADHD, this is a game changer. It doesn't stop the mind from wandering, but it builds the skill of returning. Over time, this makes it easier to stay with tasks, conversations, or daily routines. So, a tip as a practitioner, when explaining this to clients, avoid saying things like clear your mind. Instead, encourage them with phrases like, every time you bring your attention back, you are succeeding. This helps remove the pressure and reframes wandering as part of the process. So, the second mechanism we're going to look at is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change in response to practice. Brain scans show that regular meditation increases activity in the prefrontal cortex and strengthens networks that regulate attention and impulse control. You can think of it like walking a new path through tall grass. The more you walk it, the clearer it becomes. Meditation builds a new neural pathways to the brain, in the brain, making focus and regulation more accessible over time. So, a tip as a practitioner that when you share this analogy with your clients, many find it empowering to know that they're literally reshaping their brain with practice. Excuse me. So, mechanism 3 is looking at emotional regulation. ADHD isn't just about focus. Emotional ups and downs are also common. Meditation helps regulate the nervous system, reducing the stress hormone levels like cortisol and creating a pause before reacting. Now, this doesn't remove emotions. We don't want to remove emotions at all, but it gives clients more space to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. So, as a practitioner, a tip is to encourage clients to see meditation as creating space between stimulus and response. This helps them feel more in control, even during emotional moments. So, let's do a little bit of a 3-minute breathing exercise that you could use for your clients and you can talk them through. So, this practice goes for 3 minutes. So, what you would do, let's practice this together, is sit comfortably with your eyes closed if you would like, or you can leave them open. Now, as you're sitting comfortably, bring your attention and your focus to the breath, inhaling and exhaling naturally. So just pay attention to the breath. Feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. When your mind wanders, simply notice and gently return your focus back to your breath. Each return is a success. So continue with this for a few minutes. If your mind is wandering, just simply return your attention back to your breath. Okay. So how does that feel? When you even practice just a short practice like that, this demonstrates attention training. What you are doing is you are very gently bringing your attention back to the breath and focusing it back in. Okay? So this practice helps with attention training, neuroplasticity in action, so changing that neuroplasticity, and the beginning of emotional regulation. Now, your clients can be encouraged to do this multiple times a day or as they need, okay? And they will find that over time, this will help to strengthen those areas. So, meditation works through attention training, neuroplasticity, and emotional regulation, all highly relevant for ADHD. Next, we'll move into practical strategies you can share with your clients so they know exactly how to make meditation doable in their daily life. So far, let's have a look. We've explored ADHD, brain, the research, and how meditation works. Now let's talk about practical strategies, because one of the biggest challenges you'll face as practitioners is helping clients to find ways to actually use meditation in their daily lives. So let's look at some core principles for clients who are living with ADHD. So when supporting clients with ADHD, it's important to remember these 4 principles. 1, start small. 3 to 5 minutes is enough. Long sessions can often feel overwhelming. So we don't want them to stop before they've even started. Excuse me. Just encouraging that 3 to 5 minutes is plenty. Make it flexible. Meditation doesn't always mean sitting still. Movement, music, or guided practices can all work just as well. Number 3, use supports. There are timers, apps, or reminders that can help clients to stay consistent. And number 4 is anchor to routines. Linking meditation to daily habits like brushing your teeth or making a cup of tea helps it to become automatic. Okay? So a tip as a practitioner, encourage your clients to set realistic goals. Success builds confidence. Over-ambitious plans often lead to frustrations. So we do want to encourage our clients to have those realistic goals and then build on those. So let's look at some practical strategies. So here are some strategies that you can suggest with your clients. So we've got 5 of these. Short bursts of mindfulness. Teach your clients to pause for just 1 minute of slow breathing between tasks. What this does, it helps reset attention and bring their focus on to the next thing. Movement-based meditation. Walking meditation, stretching, or yoga can be more suitable for restless energy. It will help for them to be able to release that energy through and create a feeling of calm. Apps and digital tools. Programs like Headspace, Calm, Smiling Mind, and Inflow provide structure and ADHD friendly supports. Music or sound anchors. Clients may find it easier to focus on a sound like calming music or a mantra instead of just silence. We're more inclined to have a wandering mind if there is only silence, and these can help to anchor them in. Consistent times. Excuse me. Encourage practice at regular points in the day, like before school, before homework, or at bedtime. Having a regular time each day will help to improve practice and allow it to become part of their routine. Excuse me. So, let's experience a practice that you can actually use with your clients. This is a simple 5-minute focus reset that goes really well for helping the client to be able to focus their attention. So we'll practice this together. So what you need to do is sit comfortably with your feet on the floor. Close your eyes if you would like. Take a deep breath in and then slowly exhale. Bring your attention down through the body. Notice the forehead, jaw, shoulders. Release any tension that you're feeling in those areas. Pay attention and just feel that shift. Continue scanning down your arms, chest, stomach, legs, and feet. Notice if there's any tension in those areas. Release that tension. If need be, start at the beginning and scan your body again. You will find tension in different areas each time. Now shift the focus to your breath. Notice the rhythm of the inhaling and the exhaling. If the mind wanders, gently guide it back. Bring your attention back down through the body, giving one last scan through the body before we finish the practice. Notice your forehead. Release any tension. Your jaw and your shoulders. Release any tension that may be sitting there. Continue now to scanning down your arms, your chest, your stomach, your back, your legs, and your feet. Releasing any tension in those areas. Once you've completed that, take one more deep breath in and out. You can open your eyes now. So this simple reset practice helps your clients to calm their nervous system, bring attention back to the present, and to just reset their mind. Notice how you feel after this short practice. Calmer, more focused, and maybe even more grounded. When you teach this to clients, always ask them to reflect what changed in my body or my mind, or both. This brings awareness and helps them to see benefits right away. So a tip for practitioners: teach clients that even one mindful minute between tasks or classes is valuable. It's like pressing a reset button for their attention. It just helps to shift. So practical strategies make meditation accessible for clients with ADHD. By keeping it short, flexible, and supported, you help clients build success and confidence. Next, we'll open up for questions and reflections, okay? So you can integrate what you've learnt, and please feel free to share your insights in the comments section. So we've covered a lot today, from understanding ADHD in the brain, how meditation supports focus, and practical ways to introduce it. Now, what I would like to do is open this space for you in our comments. It's your chance to ask questions, share reflections, or talk about what stood out for you. So I really would like to encourage you to share those with me and others in the comments section. So if you're not sure of where to start and how to reflect, what to reflect on, some prompts for you to think about is: what felt easiest for you in the practices that we did today? What felt the hardest? Did you notice any changes in your body or your mind even after that very short practice? And what is one idea or strategy you'd like to try with your clients or with others this week? So these are the same questions that you can use with your own clients when you're supporting them to reflect on the practices that they're doing. Encouraging reflection helps them to build awareness of what is working best for them. So I will have those, you will find those questions in the description box, okay, so that it's easy for you to find those. So as you share, whether it's here today in the comments section or later with your own clients, remember that there are no wrong answers, okay? Everyone's ADHD experience is different. Everyone's meditation journey is unique. So there's no wrong answer. The goal isn't perfection, it's practice. Even noticing what was challenging is useful information because it tells you where to start and how to support more effectively. So, thank you for any reflections that you've shared and the openness. These discussions are really valuable. So, please start that discussion in the comment section if you would like. It's not just for your learning, but for shaping how you'll support your future clients. In our final section, we'll bring together with a recap of the key points and a set of resources you can continue using after today. All right, so a recap. So before we finish, let's recap the most important points from today. So point one is ADHD is about regulation, not laziness. It's a difference in brain wiring, not a lack of effort. People who are living with ADHD put in so much effort. It's exhausting for them. So they are trying. It's about having the right strategies. Meditation supports attention, memory, and emotional regulation, and the research backs this up. Consistency matters more than length, so even 3 to 5 minutes daily has measurable benefits. And our fourth point, every time a client's mind wanders, they bring it back, they are making progress. Okay? It is the awareness and the effort to bring that back. So it is success. So, as a practitioner, when you're summarizing with clients, always keep it simple and encouraging. They don't need all the science, they need reassurance and clear next steps that they can implement today. So, as future practitioners, you'll be guiding clients into what to do next. Here are some simple recommendations that you can offer. So, number one, encourage them to begin with just 3 minutes a day. A 3-minute pause will do wonders and they'll see the benefits. Two, suggest ADHD friendly apps like Headspace, Calm, Smiling Minds, Inflow, or Insight Timer. Excuse me. Recommend using timers or reminders to build consistency and remind them to reflect back on their practice. How do I feel? Did anything shift? So these small steps empower clients to succeed and to see meditation as approachable and not overwhelming. So as we close, remember, ADHD is not a defect of effort. It's a difference in wiring. And meditation gives us a tool to strengthen focus, regulate emotions, and build self-awareness. For your clients, every mindful breath is progress. And for you, as practitioners, your role is to meet them with understanding, encouragement, and practical skill tools. Thank you so much for your attention, your openness, and your commitment to supporting people with living with ADHD. Please feel free to comment below. Thank you.